Let's begin with a prayer of preparation. Lord, we come now to hear your word about love. It's a gift you give us, and we're so excited that we can have it. Help us today with this meditation that it might become more clear what this love is and how we can have it in our life as well. Amen. Many times this time of year you hear the expression that love is the reason for the season. And that's true. But I would rather just leave it like this. Love is the reason. Period. Love is the reason for everything there is. Everything from the beginning of this universe to this present moment has occurred because of one thing, and that is love. This is why we are who we are. This is why we are where we are. This is why we are here to do what we are here to do. All of this flows out of this one great thing which we call love. Love is the reason that there's such a thing as life. If the universe did not love us, if reality did not love us, there would be no us. And if it were not true that love is maintaining us and moving us in the direction of where we need to be, we would have long time ago become as extinct as the dinosaurs are today. Love is what has made it all happen and what continues to make it happen. And it is what will always make it happen. So love is one of the, not just one of the great gifts, it is the greatest gift that God can give us. We've been talking about the gifts that God gives us. You see them right here, all lit up nice and beautiful. The first gift we talked about was hope. It's a gift God gives us, and we talked about how hope is what we have when we are lost from God. The hope we have is that no matter how far away we might get, no matter how deep in despair we might find ourselves, no matter how many different directions we've gone besides the direction of God, no matter any of that, here's the hope that Christianity celebrates. God will return us to Himself. God will bring us back. It's almost like a yo-yo, you know, we go way out like this and zoom, we come way back, you see. But we never fail to be brought back. And that's one of the great gifts, the gift of hope. To know that no matter how much you've messed up or gone the wrong way or thought the wrong thing or done the wrong thing, you always got a God that's going to bring you back and hug you and say, "Welcome, my child." And then, of course, burning back here is the beautiful candle of peace. We talked about that. And we had this understanding that if you do not anticipate peace, you will not find peace. Because life is filled with storms, filled with all kinds of trials and temptations and difficulties. And because of that, it's often difficult in life to think that there's going to be some salvation from all of this that we're going through. When you are living in a whirlwind, what you need is peace. And this is another of the great gifts that God makes available to us. No matter how strong your whirlwind, no matter how strong the hurricane that's coming your way, God will give you the power to endure it, and God will remove it from the destroying your life. It's one of the promises of God. It's one of the great gifts of God. Hope and peace. And then the little purple candle burning here in the back is the great gift of joy, which we talked about last time. And Joy is that gift that comes to us to remind us that in life, no matter how many times you are defeated, no matter how much sorrow you might have to experience, no matter how much suffering you might have to go through, all of it, every bit of it, God is using to bring you closer to Him. It's the way God molds us. It's the way He turns us into the beautiful vessel that will hold His Spirit. If you don't have any of those sorrows and those sufferings and those miseries in life, then you don't become the beautiful being that you are meant to be. And this is joy. Joy is knowing that God will transform your sorrows into beautiful and wonderful living. So there, what gifts, amazing, hope, peace, and joy. But today, we have the greatest gift, the one that is really tremendous, the gift of love, and that's the red candle burning on the very front there. As Paul put it so well, there's hope, faith, and love, but the greatest of these is love. And so therefore we have to think a little bit about that subject. Love is a very overused word. I love chocolate. I love grilled fish, you know. Yeah, we love a lot of things in this world. And we use that word cheaply. Instead of saying we like this and we like that, we just got lazy and started using this very sacred word, love. We shouldn't really use it in that kind of a context. Because love is much greater than just lacking something. What is love? Man, we could write several books upon that subject. What is love? And today I'd just like to give you a simple definition of what is love and what I understand it to be. And of course, you know, when I went to seminary, we studied love quite a bit. We studied it in all kinds of ways. And we learned a lot about love. But I had an experience one night that really just kind of blew my mind, first of all, and then made me really aware of what love was really all about. So I'll tell you this story. Please try to understand what I mean here. The seminary that I went to, one of the things that was really a major deal there was to experience life in its every kind of form that we could experience, because we were going to be pastors and we had to know everything there was to know about any kind of troubles, difficulties, life. So they wanted to make sure we went out and experienced all kinds of stuff, and they arranged those things for us. And one of the things they arranged for us to do was to ride the night shift in a police car. Yeah. And I thought, well, that'll be all right. I'll sit up there in the front seat and talk to the policeman. No, they said, you need to sit in the back seat where we put the people in handcuffs. You need to see what it's like to see someone in handcuffs. And of course, you need to learn how to pray. But yeah, they did that. And we went out all night long in that police cruiser, and I sat in the back seat, and we had some real encounters. But we had an encounter with this one guy who was as drunk as you had ever seen anybody be drunk, and he was throwing up on everybody, and the policemen were trying to get him into the back seat there with me. And of course, being drunk, he was very friendly with everybody. But he was handcuffed back there. And, you know, you could tell he was going to throw up again. And he was facing me. But the policeman, the guys up front, they realized he was getting ready to throw up again. And so they stopped the car, and they got out, and they went back there, and just before he threw up, they took him out of the car, and they undid the handcuffs so he could throw up, you know, and not get on everybody and not be such a horrible situation. I've never tried to throw up with handcuffs on, but I think it would be not nice to do that. And it was at that very moment that I was standing out there in the dark about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was seeing these two policemen trying to help this man get rid of what he had to get rid of, get him back into the truck and everything. But they were trying to help him. That's what they were trying to do, basically, because he'd gotten out of line and he was kind of crazy and everything. And then it's when I looked down on the side of the car and I saw the motto of the police department in that city, and it's a motto that is on many police cars. And when I looked at that, it was just like it had a glow of holiness behind it. It said, "To serve and protect." And I thought to myself, well, there is the best definition of love you could ever have. Love is serving someone and protecting someone. Love is to take responsibility for those who are in misery or who have messed up or who need to be straightened out or whatever it is. Love is when we take responsibility for the life of another person and we serve them to the best of our abilities, bringing to them what they need every day that we can, of course, and protecting them from all those things that would destroy them. If you love your children, what do you do for your children? You serve them and you protect them. If you love your wife or you love your husband, what do you do for them? You serve them and you protect them. If you love your friend, if you love your neighbor, what do you do for them? You serve them and you protect them. If you really want to know what this mysterious force that made the universe what it is and that keeps us going down the calendar day by day, it is a force that serves us and protects us. And we call that love. So we have to think about love that way. It's not something that many people think about when they think about love. A lot of people, when they're in love, oh, I'm in love, they're delusional. That's what they are. I remember I did a lot of counseling back when we used to do weddings a lot with younger people and everything, and I always went over the service we used to use back in those days, and there's a part of the service where it says that we will love one another for better or worse, and it's in there, and I would always talk to them about that for better or worse and how the worst part was the worst part. But I had one young woman one time said, "Oh, that's not going to be a problem for us. I've already seen his worst part." And I thought, yeah, you really don't know, do you? Yeah. For better or worse, that's what love is really about. It's a dedication. It says, you know, you're going to be good to me sometimes and you're going to be just really bad to me sometimes. And that's the way life's going to be. But if I love you, then I'm dedicated to you. For good or evil, for better or for worse, I'm going to continue to serve you and I'm going to continue to protect you. That's what love is about. It's not delusional thinking that people are going to be perfect and it's going to be wonderful. Or we go out and we help people and we give them a little money or we give them some help and we think next time we see them they're going to be in a suit and tie and got a job. No, that's not going to happen. They're going to just continue to live as they do. But if you love them, you're dedicated to them. And love is about giving them what they need. Now, please pay attention. I did not say giving them what they want. Big difference between giving them what they need and giving them what they want. And this is what God does. He looks at our lives and He understands what we really need. Now, we might be praying for this and praying for that and wanting this and wanting that. But God says, well, yeah, I understand all that, but here's what you need. And if you think about it, what would you really rather have? That which you want or that which you need? You really want that which you need. And so God is not about trying to bribe us and say, oh, if I give you what you want, then you'll worship me and you'll follow me and you'll be a good person. No, God is in our life to give us what we need when we need it. One of the things I tell people when they try to help them understand this servanthood of God, because people are not used to hearing that. They don't think about God being our servant, being the one who takes care of us, being the one who looks out for us, being the one who protects us. We always think of God as the one, oh, we serve God, oh, we bow down to God, oh, we worship God. But the true nature of God is that God is the best servant you will ever have, because He knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and He'll give it to you exactly at the moment in which you give it. You need it. There was a restaurant in Houston, where we used to live many years ago, called Tony's. It was a very, very high-scale restaurant, 3 Michelin stars, and they had a wait staff that was trained beyond belief. They were some of the best waiters, and I've eaten in a lot of good restaurants around the world. They were the best waiters I had ever seen, and it was amazing. Some waiters think they're doing a good job because when you ask them for a glass of water, they bring you one. Oh, I did a great job. That is a horrible waiter. If you've got to ask for a glass of water, what kind of waiter is that? When you're at one of those kind of restaurants, your glass gets about half empty. All of a sudden you look around and there it is being filled up. You never ask about it. You never said anything about it. A little crumb on your table. You look this way and you look back and the crumb's taken away. That's somebody that's serving you and watching you and looking out for your need. Well, in a spiritual way, that's what God is doing for us. God is looking out for us on a daily basis. He's watching out for us. He's protecting us. Just the other day, I came out of my apartment over at the Palermo, and you go out the gate, done it a million times, and you're walking out there onto the sidewalk, and I went out, and I was just getting ready to go out onto the sidewalk, but something told me, be careful, look to the left, right? Before you go around that brick wall, look around there. I don't know why, I never did that. I always just walk right out onto the sidewalk. It's the sidewalk. What are you supposed to do? But I looked around, and just exactly where I was going to step, somebody, I don't know why he was doing it, but he was driving a motorcycle down the sidewalk. And I was just about to step right out in front of him. Now, it was an accident, some might say. You just happened to have that happen. No, I don't believe that. I go back over my life and I look at my life and I think about all the times somebody been looking out for me. Somebody been watching out for me. Somebody's been avoiding things that I need to avoid. And somebody's been leading me to places I never thought I would go. Let me tell you, we think we live our own life, but you don't live your own life. Nobody lives your own life. You live your life in the shadow of God. He's right there looking over you. And the Scriptures tell us clearly He never goes to sleep. He's the best security guard you ever had. He didn't go off and take a nap when somebody's robbing your house. No, God is with you all the time in every place, serving and protecting, serving and protecting. That's who God is. That's what reality is all about, and that's what our life that we live here is all about. It is all about the God who is in that reality, who serves us and who protects us. So, we must then understand, if that's the kind of God we have, if that's the kind of reality in which we live, it's important to read the Scriptures. I understand. And I encourage every one of you to read them time and time again because they can help you understand things. But Jesus spent His time just sitting down and looking at life. He just sat down and looked at it. And from that looking, He learned what God was all about. He sat there on a rainy day, I'm sure, and there wasn't too many rainy days in Israel. It's kind of a dry place. But He sat there on a rainy day, and He watched the rain. And He saw it fall on this farm over here. And He said, oh, I'm glad to see that because it's a good man and he needs a crop. And then right across the road, He saw the same rain falling on this farm that this guy was as evil as there ever was an evil guy. He didn't deserve one crop or anything. And Jesus just sat there and looked at that rain and said, Rain over here. Rain over there. So what does that say about God? And what does it say about the love that is God? It says that it's a love that is dedicated to us. No matter how good we might be or how evil we might be, it's dedicated to us. And it's dedicated to serving us and to protecting us. And so praise God. We love God for that. And we are so excited to know that that's the kind of God we have. And so we lift Him up whenever we stop for a moment and say, thank God for all the ways you've served me, all the ways you've protected me, all the ways you've led me. Oh, I just love you for everything that you have done. But then comes the other side of love, which is another side that we often don't pay attention to. If this is how God treats you, how should you treat your neighbor? You see, it's not a hard question to figure out. If this is the way reality is, and I want to be part of that, I want to be part of the reality in which I live, and if God in that reality takes care of me this way, then how should I look at my neighbor? Should I not be the same toward my neighbor as my God is toward me? And the more Jesus looked at life, He said, you know, that's really what it's all about. You need to become the caretaker of your neighbor. You know, in the Old Testament, we have this story about Cain and Abel. And Cain had killed his brother Abel. You remember the story, out of jealousy. And God comes along and says, Cain, where's your brother? And Cain kind of answers back in a snotty little angry way, am I my brother's keeper? What a question. That has rung down through humanity, that's rung down through the years for thousands and thousands of years. Are we our brother's keeper, or are we not our brother's keeper? And if God is our keeper, then why are we able to think about ourselves as not being our brother's keeper? No, of course not. This is our purpose. This is the reason, as I said from the very beginning, love is the reason you're alive. Love is the reason you are here. Love is the reason this world is here. Love is the reason we are all here. It is the reason for our very existence. It is the purpose of who you are, why you're here, and what you're supposed to be doing. It is who you are meant to be. You are meant to be love. Love that takes care of your neighbor by serving them and protecting them. Doing whatever you can to bring to them not what they want, but what they need. So, you know, it's very rare in life that you finally figure out what you're supposed to be doing. But Christmas is a time that reminds us, once again, here's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be loving others the same way God has loved you. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And you're supposed to be feeling joyful and peaceful and hopeful, because the reality in which you live is God, and God is love for you, and will always bring you home, and will always help you endure the storms, and will always get you from your sorrows into your victories. Yeah, that's the kind of God we have. And yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Well, I'll end my little meditation here. Christmas is always a time of memories, the things we remember about Christmas past. And I'm remembering back when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, I think, a long time ago. And in that time, a song came out on the radio. Somehow I'm big on these songs coming out on the radio. But the song that came out on the radio back in those days, many of you are not old enough to remember this song, but many, maybe of you, can remember it. The name of the song, as a little boy sang it, it was called, All I Want for Christmas Is My 2 Front Teeth. And my 2 front teeth had fallen out because I was about that age. And I loved that song. It was hard to sing it because I didn't have any front teeth. But all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. But let me tell you what I'm hoping for you. I'm hoping for you that the Christmas you have this year will be a Christmas when you imagine that God has put a Christmas tree in your apartment. God has put a Christmas tree in your house. Maybe you got a little Christmas tree there. But God has put a Christmas tree in your house. And under it there are 4 boxes. And all of them got your name on it. And do you know what's in those 4 boxes? It's a great gift for you. It's a hope. It's a peace. It's a joy. And it's a love. Amen.